Welcome to the 10-Minute Business Insight on MyNewsroom.ca. Paul Martin here, and joining me today from his office in New York City is Nenad Bach. And you may not know him as a household name, but if you are a high-performing musician around the world, you would know him. He has performed, a career, a body of work that's been decades long, and I guess, Nenad, you worked with some pretty big names. You were close to the Grateful Dead, I think, and you worked with U2, Pavarotti. I mean, how's that for name dropping?
Mm, Sounds good to me.
Anyway, we're not really here to talk about music today directly about performance, but I do want to talk to you about a conversation you and I had that I found extremely intriguing from an economic development perspective. And you made the point that economic developers should entertain or consider, put right at the front of their mind, how arts, food, just the softer side are what holds communities together and make them very attractive. Can you just explain that?
Sure. If we divide human activity into three domains, into creation, production, and service, that's all what people do, then nothing happens without creation. And creative people are very intrigued by other creative people. So, but all creative people have one thing in common. They love music, they love art. So art is the glue of a society. Cities that nurture culture, they keep their creative class in town. So if you have a good company, if you have a good music, if you have good coffee, good meal, you will stay in that city. There was an experiment made in Austin, Texas, maybe 30, 40 years ago, when the fathers of the city and leaders of the city transformed warehouses into restaurants and galleries and music venues where Willie Nelson and Janis Joplin and Stevie Ray Vaughan played every night. And Michael Dell didn't leave for Silicon Valley. He stayed and made the Dell computers there. And Whole Foods started in Austin, Texas. So the important thing, if I was a mayor of any city, I would have music being played every night, somewhere, live music, galleries opened. People love to. We are social beings. I just today I heard about a book about survival of the friendliest. It's about ecosystem or ecosystem. Ecosystem is caring of self. Ecosystem is caring for others. We in our nature we are social and we nurture each other. We love each other, especially if we hang out with creative people. Like I always have an example when a bus driver hangs out like a spider on a big wheel and do the curbs perfectly. I'm impressed. I'm intrigued by how people achieve perfection. By the way, I'm not expert in anything, because when I see that somebody is expert in North Korea but never visited, I despise that. So on the television you can see all these experts on anything. I always laugh about it. But in any case, so back to the subject, we love other creative people, and we gather and create things. And creative class will stay in town if they have good environment. That's in short explanation.
You make a really interesting point, though. Companies do not leave communities where their folks and the company feels comfortable, and comfortable comes from artistic endeavor, as you said, good coffee. What is a good coffee? Good food, good music. Will
Correct.
will hold companies in a community.
Yeah. So I don't know why mayors of cities do not understand that. It's written, documents have been written, books have been written about it, and it's knowledge is available. It's not any more secret like 500 years ago that you have to know the monk and read the books. Now you can Google in milliseconds and you can find out almost everything. So I would say economic advisors or mayor of the people who lead the cities or regions or counties should pay attention to this information, because otherwise the creative class will leave. People will leave for other bigger cities who provide these services. And
Are you kind of an example of that? I mean, you grew up in Croatia. You're now in, the Big Apple in New York. Was it the big city attracted you?
exactly. I left my city, which I loved. I was born in Zagreb. I lived in Rijeka on the coast of Croatia, and I would develop that city musically, culturally, to the extent that they don't even know. We had a great recording studio, which is like a warehouse now, where we could record symphony orchestras. I played violin for 14 years. I played in orchestra, but they never recorded anything in that studio because simply people who are creative left the town and left for Big Apples or somewhere else, capital of Zagreb. So I am an example of that, exactly.
Yet you still advise the president of Croatia today. You're obviously one of their most well-known native sons, and they still seek your guidance.
Well, it depends who is in power, but yes, people do call and ask for advice. I don't do this publicly, but privately, yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah,
Or I have TV shows. Sometimes I go to TV shows that I talk about how to brand the country and things like this.
yeah,
Not as an expert, but as just as somebody who is observer.
well, you have an interesting story about that. That's I've always been intrigued by about the national airline and your guidance to the president there about how they should brand it and paint it up. And
That's very true. You researched really well. I think that the Dalmatian dog came from Croatia and has its spots, and I would put spots as the islands, on the shape of the islands. Croatia has over 1,000 islands. And I would put the spots, and then when somebody walk on JFK airport with the jacket like this, airline stewardess or pilot, it will be attraction for the whole world.
they
And
definitely know which airline it was.
yeah,
Listen, just a minute or two left to go, but I cannot let you go without talking about uh, ping pong and Parkinson's. You deal with Parkinson's disease, and it really damaged your ability to perform, and so you got mad. You just said that's not going to happen, and you took up ping pong, and you got your mobility back.
that's true. I don't call it disease. I call it diagnose, because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We really don't know. Um, it was by coincidence that I was introduced to the game of table tennis, and it really does help me. And last couple of days, last 2 days, I'm not playing, so I feel immediately less mobile. So it's not a cure, but I can sustain living and working much better. I would say 50% better. And I organized the World Championship, Ping Pong Parkinson World Championship in October last year. And now we will have in Germany next year World Championship. So it's spreading all over the world. And if you want to read it, you can read it. It's an unfinished website, but it's pingpongparkinson.org. And I would suggest that in your community there there are people with Parkinson, I'm sure. So that they take a club, they open the club. I will help them with anything that they need, because we are connected with the International Table Tennis Federation, and I'm now lobbying for Parkinson to be part of the Paralympic Games, which people with Parkinson could not compete as of now. So since the beginning of the Paralympic Games in Rome in 61, 62, we are not able to compete, and I want to change this.
Nenad, you're a special guy. I want to thank you for taking the time to sit in with me today. And I guess I should thank Jamie
Well,
Mason Cohen as well for introducing the two of us. And all the best to you, my friend. Good luck.
thank you. Thank you. And all the best to all of you.